Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Welcome to Nairobi region. This is the Great Debaters Contest. I am Austin Nyambok.
I am Mariam Bishar, and today we have Mount Laverna High School battling it out with sunshine. And their motion is one where the poor infrastructure is a barrier to adopting digital payment systems. We'll let the debate gurus take the stage. Proposal number 1, you have 3 minutes.
Ladies, gentlemen, my name is Sam Nyong. I have come to propose the fact that poor infrastructure is indeed a barrier to adopting digital payment. Infrastructure is the basic systems and services that ensures smooth running of an organization. Internet is actually a service. And as we have known, infrastructure is a service to make smooth running of the organizations. Well, if you say 3G data has helped in payment, which is actually jamming the payment, as in, for example, MTN is jammed because of poor internet. It is slow and it cannot work quickly. As in, recent research has said that MTN has gone bankrupt, to be precise, because the internet is slow. It is a fact that poor infrastructure is actually a barrier to adopting digital payment. If you actually think to the contrary of that, then you should know that people from Sunshine will prove to you. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your opening remarks.
Hello, everyone. On stage is Mount Laverna Girls Secondary School, and I'm here to oppose the motion. Poor infrastructure is a barrier to adopting digital payment systems. Infrastructure are systems that help a country run efficiently. And in this case, we're talking about the technology systems. First and foremost, there is lack of public awareness. People are not aware that these digital payment systems exist. The government and the institutions that have been given the mandate to make sure that these digital payment systems have been adopted are not going to the grassroots level to ensure that those people who haven't gone to school, they are illiterate, understand these procedures. People, you can still, at Thames Tower, you can still see people lining up to pay for taxes, yet there is iTax. You can just pay your taxes through your phone. Secondly, I want to talk about the finance that has been allocated for the adoption of digital payment systems. The government is also concentrating on other sectors of the economy. The emerging issues, there is terrorism, there is illicit brews, people are drinking alcohol. They have to concentrate the money on such illicit brews like changa, which are reducing the population of the people who provide human resource. I would also want to talk about the poor training. The training that is there that is not sufficient for the adoption of digital payment systems. Our technology is advancing the training that people are receiving for the adoption of these digital payment systems is inadequate. Each and every day our technology is increasing. People are also insecure. They don't want to save the money in banks. How many of you, there's still people who are sleeping with money under their pillows, insecure that their banks will not put the money in the right way. They'll embezzle them. Like Central Bank, the accounts were hacked just recently. Thank you.
We'll hear rebuttals now. Proposers, you have 3 minutes.
The House at large, the name is Arnold Areri. Now, when you say digital payment system, what comes into your mind? Western Union. Now, a couple of years ago, when Western Union's satellite crashed, the server crashed, and therefore the profits reduced by 40%. Now, Western Union is a digital payment system, and by its profits dropping for more than 40% is directly linked to the poor infrastructure that was at that time. We have M-Pesa. When M-Pesa was first launched in the country, it did not pick up as fast as was expected. Why? Because Safaricom did not have the proper infrastructure to cope with the huge amounts of clients that it had. Now, Safaricom transacts more than $4 billion every 3 months. Why? We have proper infrastructure. For our counterparts, if you think that people are not aware that there's digital payment system, look at our sponsors. We have M-Pesa. Who is not aware of M-Pesa? Who is not aware that they can send money and receive money across the country at the touch of a button? And how exactly are illicit brews a barrier to digital payment system? I mean, for Christ's sake, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to operate a phone, to operate M-Pesa. It's not that complicated. And if you're looking for reasons why proper infrastructure are not a barrier to digital payment system, then to my opponents, I'd like to tell you that you're truly, truly wrong. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for a rebuttal.
My name is John Naitore, opposing the motion that poor infrastructure is a barrier to adopting digital payment system. To counter my partners here, we are saying illicit brews, they are mainly affecting the youth who would have provided the labor force to adopting this digital payment system. If we lack the labor force, how are we supposed to adopt this digital payment system? On to my first point. Disease pandemics, HIV/AIDS is mostly affecting the youth who have the technological knowledge of adopting these digital payment systems. If the youth die because of HIV/AIDS, will the old people adopt this digital payment system? No, not at all. Secondly, poor governance. Most of our leaders are embezzling the funds the funds that would have been used in this sector to adopt digital payment systems. There is poor training in terms of technology is always advancing. If we do not have the training to go hand in hand with the technology that is advancing, we won't be able to adopt these digital payment systems. Thank you.
Caroline Juma from St. Cecilia Girls High School, Misihu. I would like to become a lawyer. And I think M-Pesa will help me in that I'll be able to save my money. And you know, as a lawyer, I'll be in different places, maybe at different times, whereby I can be able to send and transact money through my clients, through my parents too. So I think it will really help me.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
The proposition have been asked if they refute the fact that illicit brews are a hindrance to adopting digital payment systems, and the opposition have been challenged on whether the youth are the only ones with technological know-how. Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes.
The judges, House at large, my name is Abdi and I'm here to answer the question. Rocket science, it's a metaphor. Just means that it's not really hard to understand that. It's not really hard to operate M-Pesa or any iTax. It's just a metaphor. So it's not really literal, okay? Government support, public awareness, we can have all this, But if we have poor infrastructure, there's nowhere we're going. Because without infrastructure, then systems won't run. So even if we have sober youth, even if we have security all over, even if we'll have everything, government support and all, with poor infrastructure, then the systems won't run. It's all null and void. The motion itself is a fact, that poor infrastructure is in fact, it's a problem. It's a barrier to effective payment system, digital payment system. So when you come and tell us that about digital, about the government intervention, sober youths and drunkards and all that, it doesn't really add up. And the purpose of digital payment system is that we have less labor, less people to operate all these things. That's why we want to go digital. We don't require a lot of labor, so that systems can run smoothly, fast, and it will all be efficient to us all. Thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond.
To answer the question from the audience, it's that we're not saying that the youth are the only ones with a technical know-how, but it is easier to teach the youth on how these systems work and everything. But if the number of youths we are teaching is very few, the adopting of the digital payment systems will be difficult. To counter my opponents when they say that sober youths and related things, it's not that we are saying that the youth are not sober, but we are asking if the youth are not able to understand these systems that they are saying that should be put in place, how is it possible to adapt these digital payment systems? And also, it is actually difficult for people to determine on how to use a telephone. For example, the old people may find it difficult to learn how to pick or end a call. You cannot tell me a person who's unable to do that can be able to operate M-Pesa. To add on to the points presented, when there's poverty in a country, it is difficult to adapt these digital payment systems, whereby if I lack the basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing, you cannot tell me I will divert my money to buy a telephone so that I can be able to access services such as M-Pesa. Thank you.
We'll hear closing statements now. Proposers, you have a minute.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, the fact of the matter is that to operate a system, you need infrastructure, you need satellites, you need servers, you need cell towers. Now, let us all assume that that this room right here is a country, right? And Safaricom wants to operate M-Pesa inside here. We have the support of the government, we have sober youth, I hope, and the place is safe, relatively speaking, that is. But we don't have infrastructure. We don't have the phones that we're supposed to use. We don't have the network. So how exactly are we supposed to operate the digital payment system inside this place? This is what my counterparts and I are trying to bring in front of you. Thank you.
Opposition, you have a minute as well.
Let us not assume that poor infrastructure is the barrier to adopting digital payment systems. Even in the presence of all these systems, the satellites and all, and people do not embrace these digital payment systems. If people are not able even to afford the devices required for the digital payment systems, how can we move on? How can we adapt these digital payment systems? That's like telling a runner to jump a steeple twice his height. Thank you.
The motion, we have not done justice to it. I think most of us, we did not research. We just got the motion, brainstormed, and that was all. And even the brainstorming was a little bit shallow. There are two types of reasoning: deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning, we are starting from general to specifics. inductive reasoning. We are beginning from specifics to examples. And in all those types of reasonings, we use evidence. Debate is all about reasoning, and reasoning is drawing conclusion from examples. What I really wanted to hear from the two teams are the examples. You give us examples, then draw conclusions, or make your conclusions, then give us examples to support whatever thing you're talking about. I think this was not a very good debate, and even the general feel from the audience is, had they been given a chance, I think they would have tried to handle the motion better than most of us did. So when we go back to our schools, kindly, let us try and work on our teamwork and work on our execution. We have good speakers, we have good debaters, we have the voice, we have the language, but the problem is execution. And my question is, what went wrong? So Sunshine, when you go back to your school, the question you should be asking yourself is, what went wrong? Mount Laverna, the same. The question you should be asking yourself is, what went wrong? My encouragement is this: it is not lost. We have a chance still, and next time when we come and you are really invited, let us be better debaters. Thank you to the two teams.
Sunshine Secondary, the judges gave you 50%. Please give them a hand. And Mount Laverna, the judges gave you 52%. Give them a hand as well.
We congratulate the two teams for a spirited effort, and we'd like members of the audience and also our viewers back home, follow us on Twitter at Great Debaters EA and all our other social media platforms. My name is Austin Nyambok.
And I am Mariam Bishar. Keep watching the Great Debaters contest.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.